its defense capabilities. Meanwhile, Russian forces continue to advance on the front line. Russian troops claim to have captured a new town in the Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
An illegal alien from Honduras has been charged with resisting, assaulting, and injuring an ICE officer during a traffic stop. The officer was dragged down the road by the suspect's car, causing serious injuries. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons says this was just one of thousands of dangerous illegals that ICE is trying to get off the streets.
This individual was lawfully ordered deported from the country approximately 4 years ago. He was given the opportunity to leave. He had an ankle monitor on him. He wasn't being held in detention. He went ahead and cut that ankle monitor off, and he fled. So here we have an individual who was lawfully ordered, removed from the United States by a federal judge. He fled immigration officials, which is a crime. He was later tracked down to the state of Oklahoma. My officers and agents did a traffic stop to go ahead and effectuate that final order of removal, and he fled the scene. He went ahead, like you said, he dragged our officer, a couple hundred feet, causing multiple injuries. Luckily, he's going to be okay. But this is just one of the hundreds of cases across the country of these individuals that have been ordered deported or have committed crimes in the United States, yet ICE is demonized because we're effectuating the law.
Americans were spending more than expected last month.
Shopping picked up in June, much more than expected. Retail sales rose 0.6% after a decline in May. Excluding autos, the increase is 0.5% and is up 0.6% excluding autos and gasoline. While spending increased in June, the job market continues to show signs of holding up. New claims for unemployment benefits declined 7,000 to 221,000 last week. It's the lowest level since April, though it may be harder to find a new job. Continuing claims those remaining on benefits rose to 1.95 million. Ginny Cosola, Fox News.
A university seminar aims to make more students understand the harms of communism. Bronson Woodruff has more.
The University of Texas at Austin has a seminar coming up to encourage professors to host their own classes on communism to make sure that the destructive ideology, as one professor put it, is not, quote, easily forgotten. Matt Lamb is associate editor of the College Fix.
This conference in October is a two-day seminar hosted by UT Austin professor Alexander Duff, and he is partnering with the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation through the University's School of Civic Leadership.
Lamb said he thinks one benefit of this is it will help deal with the problem of many people being removed in this day and age.
I mean, this generation, even millennials, are some way removed from the harms of communism, if we consider that ended, in the late 80s or early 90s. I mean, today we see, and this is mentioned in the article, the rise of critical theory, critical race theory, which is explicitly Marxist. The groups like Black Lives Matter, which is a Marxist organization, that people don't remember the harms of communism and Marxism. And so we need to teach it to students.
The conference, called Teaching the 20th Century, Communism and Dissent, is scheduled for October 16th through the 18th at the University of Texas at Austin. The venue is to be announced. I'm Bronson Woodruff.
Travelers giddy about being able to keep their shoes on while walking through TSA checkpoints at the airport again may have something else to look forward to. Changes to how much liquid they can carry. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Wednesday she is questioning, quote, everything TSA does.
Hopefully the future of an airport, where I'm looking to go, is that you walk in the door with your carry-on suitcase, you walk through a scanner and go right to your flight.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
In a recent survey of 1,200 left-of-center American adults, 55% responded that assassinating Donald Trump could be justified. We're swimming in shark-infested cultural waters. Some are suffering from Christianophobia. Jesus said, if they persecuted me, they'll also persecute you. Please give today to help AFA keep equipping you and others to stand for Christ. Help us shine His light into our dark culture. Visit afa.net/warrior.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Issues is the name of this program, and it's Thursday, July the 20. No, it is not. Forget that. Don't write your checks for that. Thursday, July the 17th, 2025. Good morning, brother.
Correctamundo.
Good morning, Brother Ed.
Good
Vitagliano.
morning. Good morning.
What was that expression you just used?
Correctamundo.
Oh, is that Spanish?
No, I don't know
made
where
it
it
up. Oh,
came.
you just made it up.
I just have been saying that since high school, and it probably means nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's Latin for something, but
Oh, it's Latin, not Spanish.
no, it's not Spanish.
It sounded a little Spanish there.
And it could be. Now that I'm saying it, I don't know where I got that.
Yeah. Thanks for that minute of vital information that I asked for.
That's the danger
Yeah,
you
I know.
run
I know.
anytime you ask me a
I
question.
know we're both culprits in that waste of 1 minute. Good morning, Fred Jackson.
Good morning, guys.
Anything good happening in your world, Fred? You want to share?
It's all good.
Okay.
I was, as other people have said at my age, I was able to put my feet on the floor this morning. This is the day the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it.
Amen.
Every day that you get up and breathe.
That's right.
Good day.
I want to correcto myself. That is Spanish. I just looked it up. The phrase correcto mundo means, translates to right world, or the world is right.
Okay.
There you go.
I know my Spanish. I just can't speak it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Correcto.
When it sounds Spanish. All right. Good morning, Christopher Woodward.
Buenos dias.
Hey, right there. That's some good French right there, man. You're not gonna fool me. So you're wearing that's an Auburn Tiger orange you got on right there, right? Or is that Florida Gator orange?
It's a Father's Day shirt that I'm proud of.
It is a pretty shirt. Yes. Yeah. So you did. I
have not hit the transfer portal. I'm still a proud Bulldog.
I just wondered if you were trying to compete with Steve Jordahl for the shirt recognition.
I hate to keep dragging this out, but I did. One of our listeners,
that's what old men
guy
do.
I'm friends with on Facebook, he said Correctamundo comes from the Fonz. So I may very well have been saying this since high school.
That's true.
Yes.
Fonzie.
Correctamundo.
Henry Winkler's greatest.
Ed will now sing the theme song to Happy Days.
That was a great theme song, by the way.
You know, that's weird because I just listened to that. I just listened to that this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was mixing a little drink in the kitchen, and first I listened to Gomer Pyle.
You were mixing a drink in the kitchen that early?
Not alcoholic.
I
don't drink
my
alcohol.
bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just my. Nobody wants to know about the drink.
Go ahead.
List.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, so I just listened to some happy music. I listened to the theme song to Gomer Pyle, USMC, and followed it right up with Happy Days. So strange.
Did you know that the phrase "jump the shark" comes from Happy Days?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tell you, I can't. The theme to Gomer Pyle. Maybe I'm the only one. I get emotional. You know what I'm saying? I get. So I can't listen to that very much.
You get emotional?
Yeah, it's just something stirs in me that causes me when I hear Gomer Pyle theme.
Something stirs in you.
All right.
I think the mischief is stirring in you right now.
All right. We're gonna get this show on the right tracks.
We promise.
All right, so Fred, Ed, and Tim, you're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. We're here every Monday through Friday. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, so President Donald Trump re-entered office about 6 to 7 months ago, and things have been going pretty well for the president in terms of the economy. He signed some bills. He got his One Big Beautiful Act, which was his kind of his big legislation that he really wanted legislators to debate and pass, and he got that on July 4th. Yeah, he bombed Iran.
A little bombing of Iran.
It was a big, beautiful thing. But one thing that's hanging over this administration's head 6 months into its return to office is this Epstein list.
Yeah.
And I say that
Jeffrey
it's hanging,
Epstein.
Yes.
Right.
I say that it's hanging over his head because he said he would release the list, or he thought the Biden administration should release the list. Pam Bondi said that they would do it, and they did put out some information earlier this year, but that turned out to be a big nothing burger. And in recent days, we have been told that it was all a made-up thing. It's not a big deal. Don't focus on it. And now you have people that voted for Trump, campaigned for Trump, now saying, we should release this Epstein list. Why in the world is this being held in the dark here? So it is a big issue for this president, and this is a show called Today's Issues.
Yes. I say free the list. You know what I'm saying?
Free it. Free the list.
Free the list.
Free Willie.
Okay, in all seriousness, and we're trying to quit talking about this story because it's sordid, but it keeps rearing its ugly head in the news because there's a great war of words going on between people in the Make America Great Again movement, which I'm for. I mean, I'm
sure.
And now President Trump and some on his team. So about the Jeffrey Epstein files. Now, in case you've had your head in the sand, I was going to go under a rock, but
that's painful.
That's hurt. Yes, yeah. Exactly. And I was mixing metaphors there. Actually, wouldn't I be?
Well, yeah.
You keep your head in the sand, which means ignorant, right? You hide under a rock.
Yeah, none of us are rocket surgeons on this panel, right?
Yes.
So
there's a metaphor there too, I think.
I've also mixed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, I got that.
Yeah,
I got
I'm not
that.
a rocket
It
surgeon.
took me a minute. Yeah, you're a rocket surgeon. All right. So Jeffrey Epstein, just to review, was a big wheeler and dealer in New York City for many years. He was a socialite, a celebrity, a influencer, and so he was also got known as a guy who had an island in the Caribbean, which turned out to be where he had underage girls go, and people went there. People went there to do things they were terrible, right? And people flew on his plane. They were friends of his. So and many celebrities and big names. Bill Gates has been mentioned. He even admitted to that. He didn't admit to doing anything illegal. He admitted to being friends of Jeffrey Epstein's and going on a.
And as far as we know, the parties that he hosted in New York City and his gatherings on the island were apparently not solely about trafficked girls.
Right,
so there may have been people like Bill Gates who went there and did not participate, or maybe less credibly had no idea they were going on.
Including among his friends was then New York real estate tycoon Donald Trump.
Right.
And they were pals with Jeffrey Epstein. So he had many high profile friends and so forth and so on. And I'm sure many of them had no idea what he was doing, and some of them were on the periphery, but they got pictures taken with him, and so forth and so on. So, but the scandal has been who was going to the island with him and participating in illicit activities that in illegal activities with underage girls and anyway, that whole world. His top assistant went to prison, federal prison for this. What's her name?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
I know first name.
I'm setting this up again because I know some people go, I know the name and I hear about this, but I don't know what all he did. Well, that's some of the stuff that he got into and what he did, Jeffrey Epstein. And then he went to prison, federal prison?
For it.
And then he, quote, committed suicide while in prison. Okay. Well, there's a lot of people who say he didn't commit suicide. He was killed because he knew where all the bodies were buried, so to speak, and somebody very rich and powerful and influential didn't want him spilling the beans on them and other people. There you go. I've said it, right?
Right.
So the MAGA world has been calling for the release of all the names associated in this file of investigations with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, he's dead. He can't speak on this anymore, but that speaks for him, those files. Well, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General for President Trump, said a few months ago, I've got the file on my desk, and I'm going to go through it.
Well, and she was asked, do you have the list? And the
called
list,
it the file,
so there's files related to the investigations, and there's supposedly according to some, a list of all the people who have visited the island and perhaps who participated in these illegal activities.
Right.
So she was asked, do you have the list? Or are you going to release the list? And she said, I have it on my desk along with the JFK and MLK files.
Yes.
So was she talking about the list or the files?
And the idea is, Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, and then Chris, I wanted you to play this. The idea is that Jeffrey Epstein would have been having these people caught in compromising positions or on trips they shouldn't have been involved with, or doing all kinds of things that they don't want the public finding out about. Jeffrey Epstein would have kept files on this, so to speak, in order to blackmail these people to get them to do things they otherwise maybe wouldn't do that influenced our government. Is that, and maybe foreign governments, is that, have I laid out, and with Ed's help here, have I laid out the whole scandal?
That's been part of the script. Of course, a lot of people are wondering, okay, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide 2019. I believe it was.
I think that's right.
Yeah, 2019. So a lot of people are wondering, okay, then Joe Biden comes along, he's president, he's got an administration, he's got a justice system. How come they didn't say anything? If there were high-profile Republicans in the list,
You would have think they would have.
Oh, let's talk about this. Silence. But here's the problem that President Trump's gotten into. The MAGA people are saying, okay, now we're in charge. And as you just pointed out, Pam Bondi has said it's files on my desk. I'm going to get to it. And now they're saying, okay, why aren't you releasing something? Joe Biden didn't do it, so we could speculate there were Democrats on the list. Now that you have the file on your desk, Pam Bondi, how come you're not releasing the information? Could it be there are Republicans on the list that you don't want out there?
Or foreign leaders that we're trying to protect.
Or CIA people.
Right. Who knows?
Or Mossad people from Israel. So all of this is out there. So there's this giant ball of speculation.
Right.
And some MAGA people say, let's burst the bubble on that so it get out there in the public.
Yeah.
But President Trump is in a war with his own top supporters on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he yesterday President Trump poured gas on the on the whole thing.
Fire. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I may have to avoid saying some things, but I'm about to read his Truth Social post.
Just because of profanity,
yes.
you mean? Okay.
Yes. I have shared this in my personal Facebook page, but not the Today's
Okay,
Issues
so what are
Facebook
you
page.
about to read?
His Truth Social post.
Whose Truth Social?
Donald
My
Trump.
truth? Ed's truth? Whose truth?
President
Chris?
Donald J. Trump's Truth Social post from yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
He said, and I quote, "The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from Hades, which the Democrats swore had come from Russia, parentheses, no, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom, exclamation point, and even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made-up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking
skip all
winning
that.
candidates."
What did he say? Skip that. He's just doing his greatest hits collection there.
Right.
What did he say? I'm not criticizing you, Chris.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm saying tell me what he said about Epstein.
Okay, so he says, I've had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history, and all these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore.
Whose support?
The people took that as him taking a shot at Matt.
Read that again.
Okay. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. Make America
Who's
great
he
again.
talking about, Fred?
He's talking about Republicans, about Tucker Carlson, other MAGA friends.
Yeah. People
He
that never
doesn't
get back on.
Trump's saying he doesn't want their support anymore?
That's what he just said on Truth Social. Yes.
He doesn't even drink now, right?
No.
I mean, Trump's a teetotaler, right?
Diet Coke.
Okay, so here are the possibilities as I see it, and then I'll tie it back to what Chris just read.
You want Chris to read that again?
No, I do not.
Okay,
That's long. That was long.
I
we can
left
have
out
you
a
read
lot.
it again. Go ahead.
Here are the possibilities. Jeffrey Epstein was a perv and trafficked young women for himself and maybe a few others, and he got arrested and was put in prison and knew he was never getting out, and he committed suicide.
Okay.
That's one possibility.
Okay.
And in that possibility, I would say, because this is what it seems like President Trump believes, that there were videos taken from his compound on his island, but that was all a particular type of pornography that is an abomination, and that was all taken by the FBI in their investigations. That will not be released, but there were no videos, and there is no list of people who participated in these illegal activities. That's all in one basket. That appears to be what President Trump is saying. That's why it's a hoax. The people are saying there's more to it than that. He's saying that's not true. Or some of that is true and some of it isn't. And we have no need to pick out which might be true and which isn't. Or the real conspiracy theorists are saying, no, it's all true, and there's a cover-up. And there's a cover-up because there are too many important people who are involved in all these illegal activities. And to release all that information could bring down governments, could flip the economy, and so on and so forth. I don't know which of those are true, but I think the Trump administration has blown the opportunity to keep this from mushrooming. I think they ought to come out and clearly state what they have, what's true, and what isn't, instead of insulting the people who want answers to questions that have not been answered yet by the Trump administration.
Fred?
Well,
he called it a hoax, Fred, like Bigfoot.
Yeah, he did. And those, I'm just reading some other networks, they're dealing with this right now just like we are. And I think it is providing right now some good fodder for Democrats to say, look at the division, look at the blow up within the Republican Party over this. So it's going to be interesting to see if Trump holds the line and just tries to blow through this and let's move on to something else.
Yeah.
Or in some late night tweet on Truth Social, he says, here are the basic ingredients, or Pam Bondi. Apparently, Pam Bondi's going to Alcatraz off of San Francisco today.
What?
So, yeah.
What for?
Well, we know she's going. This is just breaking news on some of the networks, but they're not telling us exactly what she's going to do there. The speculation. Talk about speculation. Speculation is she's sussing it out for places to put illegal immigrants that they're rounding up.
I will say, too, not Pam Bondi, Caroline Leavitt is scheduled to have a press briefing today at 12 o'clock Central. We do plan on covering that on radio and in print later this afternoon. I would be shocked if a reporter does not ask her about this right off the bat.
Oh,
if they don't, they have no choice.
Probably will.
Like, you're not doing your job if you don't ask about the Epstein stuff.
But now he calls somebody weaklings. Who are the weaklings?
Oh, I just think it's one of the words he's using to describe Republicans. Yeah. He's referring to Republicans
who have fallen prey to the Democratic hoax.
Yeah. Yes.
About Epstein.
Yes. That's all a MAGA.
Kind of. it's a good chunk of MAGA, but it's kind of like that. That
I don't know.
Star Wars, remember?
Yes.
These aren't the droids. Or
yeah.
I will say this for President Trump: he can get away with more stuff and really not have to pay the consequences for his words more than anybody I've ever seen since Charles Barkley.
Yeah. And as an example.
Yeah.
During the campaign, he referred to Marco Rubio, who is now his Secretary of State, as Little Marco.
Yeah.
Right.
He insulted him.
Lying Ted Cruz.
It just
He said Ron DeSanctimonious.
Yes.
Well,
the bird brain. Haley. Never mind, she was his UN secretary.
Right.
Yeah.
So he can get away. He can hurl insults with the best of them, even at his own people. He's calling his own people stupid
and
weaklings, and the whole thing's a hoax. And listen, that's not taken away from any of his policy positions, which I think he gets elected on.
He's killing it in terms of his policies.
Yeah, but his rants and things that he does to insult people, those are. I think a lot of people have separated those. You got the ranting Donald Trump, who will even go after his own people with insults, and then you got the can-do president over here who executes policy that is very good. So is that?
Yeah, I think that most of his supporters have factored in that he is. We've said this for years, going back to his first administration, that he's a New York City street fighter. And guess what? That people who are that type of personality, they don't always say the polite thing. They're going to punch you in the nose. They're going to use colorful language. And so I think most of his supporters have factored that in. This, however, this issue of the Epstein files / list, if he doesn't get on top of this, this has the possibility to erode some of his support, I think. Maybe not to the end of his administration, but a lot of MAGA supporters do not like elitists. They don't like celebrities. They think that there's a two-tier justice system, as evidenced by the lawfare against Trump before he won re-election, and they hate that kind of stuff. And if they think the Epstein case is getting a pass and all these celebrities are going to get away with murder, not literally, but with untold perversions, they're going to be very angry. Mm-hmm. I think he needs to have someone needs to have from his administration a long press conference and lay out why Trump thinks this is a hoax.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is Leavitt will come out and give a statement like she normally does, and then they'll move on into questions, and she'll revert back to her statement.
Yes, I just to be able to call your own top supporters stupid and that you believe in Bigfoot it is when you come to the Epstein files.
Yeah,
I just don't know how you move on from that to the next day to work with them on getting something else done, but I guess you do.
And we're 6 months away from really gearing up for another midterms. Democrats will use this as, see, he doesn't really care about you. And, oh, by the way, don't vote for J.D. Vance in 2028.
Well, if the attempt to bury this story, who knows if it's going to work. I don't think it will. I think it can erode trust.
But Trump says there's no story to bury.
Then prove it. You need to have somebody ask. So when Alan Dershowitz said, I've seen the list, I know some of the names who are on it, the famous attorney who said, I can't tell you who those names are because I'm under a gag order, okay, that needs to be, I want to know the answer to that.
If there's not a list, why is the Maxwell lady still in prison?
Well, she's in prison because Jeffrey Epstein did traffic young ladies, at least for himself, and she helped facilitate that.
All right.
That's why she's in prison.
We're moving on. We're moving on to the next. We got other stories to talk about.
We have Dr.
We have a guest. Baehr. We have a guest too. So we'll be back with more. We're not going to talk about this story anymore today, at least.
Moving on.
See you tomorrow. I mean, be back in a minute.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildman.
And those who went out before and those who followed cried out, Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David that is coming. Hosanna in the highest. To the east of Jerusalem, across the Kidron Valley a little more than half a mile, a Sabbath day's journey, is the Mount of Olives. From its summit, one can see the panorama of Jerusalem. Some 15 miles to the east is the Dead Sea. Many are the memories associated with this holy hill. It was from the Mount of Olives Jesus looked over Jerusalem and wept. A chapel is built on the traditional site of his weeping. It is called Dominus Flevit, which is Latin for the Lord wept. Twice in the life of Jesus we know he wept, at the death of his friend Lazarus and when he looked over the city of Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives. No doubt Jesus came often to this beautiful mount at evening when other men would go to their homes. Here, amid the grove of olive trees, he would rest. Here, in the stillness of the night, he could pray to the Father without interruption. Perhaps it was, as tradition says, on this hillside that he taught his disciples to pray what we call the Lord's Prayer. The Church of the Paternoster, that is, Our Father, is built on the traditional site. Its walls contain the Lord's Prayer in more than 65 different languages. Truly, the prayer has been uttered in many times that number of languages. Located on the top of the Mount of Olives was the village of Bethphage. Here his disciples found the donkey he rode into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. The town was a probable dwelling place of Galileans, and Jesus would have been among familiar people. The Galileans were scorned by the more pious and religious citizens of Judea and Jerusalem. Down the mountainside Jesus rode that day. People along the way paved the road with palm branches and called him king. Both sides of the dusty road were lined with spectators singing praises to him. Little did they realize that in 5 days, this man who rode the donkey as a symbol of peace would be crucified by the Roman government as a revolutionary and troublemaker. What thoughts were in his mind as he rode past the Garden of Gethsemane? Were tears still flowing as he crossed the Kidron Valley and entered Jerusalem through the Golden Gate? And as he entered the temple area, did he think of turning back? Following his crucifixion and resurrection, Jesus would come back to the Mount of Olives. He would walk through its groves and remember all that had taken place on its slopes. And here on this mountainside he would be lifted up into heaven. Some 500 years later, some devout followers of his would erect the Chapel of the Ascension in memory of that magnificent event. It is a bit of irony, or perhaps the plan of providence, that on the Mount of Olives Jesus faced his darkest night in the Garden of Gethsemane and his brightest day at the site of the Ascension. The Mount of Olives reminds one of many things concerning our Lord. It was a kind of refuge away from the crowd for him. It was a place where he could be alone with his Father. We need a place like that also. It was a place of sorrow, and each of us must face that side of life. But it was also the site of his ascension, where he went to be at home with his Father. Hopefully, each of us will have our own Mount of Olives.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildman, a production of the American Family Association.
Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. 1 Peter 1:13.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's issues. That's the name of this program on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. Tim, Ed, Fred, and Chris. Fred, before we go to our guest here, you were reminding us that the flood tragedy in Texas, the story's still got a lot of unresolved parts, right?
Well, there are still hundreds of people searching. We just put an Associated Press story on the site this morning, and they say there's still 97 people in the Kerrville area that are still missing. So the recovery operation looking for people, and we assume now have all perished. But when you think about the level of the devastation caused by that flooding, and so it perhaps is not surprising. The story is kind of turning now toward, okay, what can we do to avoid this again? Remember, the flooding occurred 2 weeks ago this morning. It was early Friday morning when the first alert went out at 1:30 and then another one at 4:30 in the morning. So a lot of people are now kind of talking about, okay, what can we do to try to ensure that this level of devastation doesn't happen again? There's nothing you can do to stop flooding, but there are systems that are in place that we can better warning so that people in the area are warned more in advance to get out of that area before the serious flooding occurs.
I think people's heightened sensitivity to flooding, or the possibility of flooding, is really high right now, and it probably will remain so. I'm talking about all across America. Yeah. I saw yesterday in New Jersey, same thing. It didn't kill people, but
well, 2 died.
Oh, 2 died?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And on a flash flood.
Yes.
Type situation. Mm. So, yeah, this people, especially in that river there, the
Guadalupe
River, that won't ever happen again. It'll flood again, but you won't catch people off guard again.
Yes,
like they were. The reason that happened, sadly, at all, I think, was that it's the middle of the night. You know, it took place between 1 and 5 a.m. People were asleep. They didn't hear their phones. Couldn't get to people. I mean, it was the camp counselors at that camp didn't have their phones.
Yeah.
So.
And it was like 25. It rose 25 feet in what 40 minutes.
Yeah, you're watching it in real time rise. I mean, by minute by minute by minute. Mm-hmm. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues. As I said, our guest now is Ted Baehr. Ted is a longtime friend of ours. He has the Movie Guide. He's publisher and founder of Movie Guide, which a lot of people listening to us I know have used and still use to get reviews of maybe movies and television programs they would consider, and are they appropriate for your family to watch, for children and so forth. Movie Guide's been around a long time, and Dr. Ted Baehr is the founder. And he's got a new book out called The Golden Age of Hollywood and Broadway, The Legacy of Robert Allen, behind the scenes of. And it's Robert Allen was Ted's father. Good morning, Ted.
Good morning, Tim. Those 2 little towns where most of the flooding, there's a sign there, or used to be there, from Texas Historical that my great-great-great-great-grandparents, both families, were the first families to come in with Conestoga wagons and name the towns. And I used to go there in the 50s, and the Guadalupe was just a little creek, and you drive through it. There was no bridge. And it is devastating. In fact, up until the 60s, almost all the people were relatives. And, of course, then a lot of people from the north moved in. So
okay,
it's a very sad situation.
Yeah.
But it's even more sad because my family lived on top of the little hills, and nobody would live in the bottomland. That's where you farmed. You didn't live in the bottomland.
Are you talking about along that river? The Guadalupe River?
Hunt and Ingram, Kerrville area, that was all family.
Wow. I didn't know the connection there. We're talking to Ted Baehr. By the way, Ted's last name is not Bear, okay? So if you type that in, you're not going to, I don't know what you get. You get some kind of bear in Russia or something. I don't know. Ted B.A.
Well, here's the different bears.
Okay.
While we're chatting. Somebody the other day called me Behar. Now that's Arabic, and then Medved is Russian for bear, and then my name is Celtic, and then Baehr is German. So Baehr is an old Celtic name. So there you go.
Are you even legal, though, would be my question. There.
Do you want any more history?
Yeah.
I'll give you history.
Hey!
By the way, I started Movie Guide at the same time as my great friend Don Wildman started AFA. We started about the same time, and, we were both on Oprah Winfrey about The Last Temptation of Christ.
Yes.
And it was one of my favorite times with your father. Because Oprah said, none of you have seen the film. I said, I've seen it several times because the head of the studio is a friend of mine, so I can tell you all the changes. Yeah.
Well,
anyway, that would have a book about my father.
Yeah. Yes. No. There's so much stuff we could talk to you about, Ted. You've been, around for a long time doing ministry and trying to influence people in Hollywood who are influential themselves to, to good morals and values, and doing the best you can to introduce them to Christ, too, along the way. But this book is called The Behind the Scenes of the Golden Age of Hollywood and Broadway, subtitled The Legacy of Robert Allen. Tell us about it, if you would.
Well, if anybody's wondering whether Hollywood had a golden age, they did have a golden age. There was a period in history, and there are pictures of my father when he did 9 Westerns, the first Texas Ranger movies, and he's got a white hat on. He did 62 movies in all. He won the box office award. But, people were quite different. Even the people that were on the edge, the studios tried to keep them sane and tried to keep any bad information out of the press. And it was a very different world, and it was a fascinating world. And he's got those, I mentioned the 62 movies, and his career was fascinating. He got out of Dartmouth, and he was working for a bank. It went bankrupt because it was the Great Depression, 1929. And then he worked for Curtiss Flying Service, flying planes, and it went bankrupt. So he was walking around the street to join a bread line, and a big agent said, "You're a good-looking guy. I'll put you in movies." He went over to Warner Brothers to sign the contract, and they gave him the name Bob Allen, Robert Allen. And I don't know whether you know, Tim, but in those days they gave everybody, including John Wayne, who was a friend of my uncle's, and all these people, another name. And the reason is that the studio Warner Brothers owned his name and would lend him out to their studios to make movies. So you sort of were the possession of the studios, and the studios were in control, and all of that blew apart with Lew Wasserman in the 60s, and now, and the church film office was dominant at that time. They kept movies clean. The Protestant film office, which we inherited the files, and the Catholic film office, and even the Jewish Defense League, and then they all shut down in the early 60s. And when the Protestant Film Commission shut down, it went from 100% family films, The Greatest Story Ever Told, The Sound of Music, all those great movies. 3 years later, it went to 82% R-rated, the first Sex and Satanism, and it was because the church left Hollywood. The church had been a dominant influence from 1930 to 1965. And all the Hollywood executives said, don't leave. I've got recordings from the last meeting of the Protestant Film Commission, and the head of Paramount Pictures said, don't leave. So those were the golden age, and part of the destruction of the golden age was the church got tired of being an influence in society. That's why what your father did and what we do is so important, because we've got to be a voice into the darkness. When I started Movie Guide, people said, you can't talk to Hollywood. And I said, well, one of my sons went on to be a missionary in an area of Papua New Guinea that had been cannibal. Where can't we go with the gospel, Tim? Do you know? Do you have any idea? It's anywhere, and we should be there.
Amen.
Our guest right now is Dr. Ted Baehr, founder and publisher of Movie Guide, and we are discussing with Ted his new book, The Golden Age of Hollywood and Broadway, The Legacy of Robert Alan. Ted, this is Ed. A lot of people don't, I would guess probably most people do not know what you're talking about in terms of the television guide and the movie guide, the kind of rules that governed entertainment, that you were not allowed to take God's name in vain. You were not allowed to have a protagonist who was a criminal. You were not allowed to make a criminal look like the good guy in a film. Obviously, you weren't allowed to have sex, but you also weren't allowed to disparage marriage. I mean, all these were rules that governed entertainment, and most people don't know that, because most people who are alive today are younger than me. I'm 66, but they have grown up with the filth and the violence and the promotion of wickedness, and they just think that's the way it's always been.
Well, you're right about that, and I'm impressed with your knowledge, because we've got a great historical background on Hollywood going back to the 1890s. But the short version of the Motion Picture Code was that you couldn't portray violence in such a way that a susceptible youth would want to copy it. You couldn't portray sex in such a way that a susceptible youth would want to, be perverted by it. So all of those were put in terms that were very positive, and you couldn't slander or mock anybody's religion, because the code was written in 1936 when the Nazis were, targeting Jews, and that's what they didn't want to do. And my daughter-in-law, who writes for Fox News, just wrote an article that the press was very pro-Hamas and really propagandized. You couldn't do that. So those were sensible rules, that you didn't mock anybody's religion, and you didn't mock, sex and marriage, just as you said. In fact, if anybody wants a history of that, send me a note at ted@movieguide.org, or write, buy the book. Please buy the book. So if you want to know how to make the industry better, if you forget the past, you can't improve the future.
All right, this is a fascinating, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but fascinating book about a lot of the things you've talked about the last few minutes and your father's life. It's about the golden age of Hollywood and Broadway, Ted's dad, and a lot of cowboy movie stuff in here too. So tell us how people can order the book if they want to get it.
Well, right now, if they do it quickly and they go to movieguide.org, for the first, few purchases, we'll give them a special gift. Now, the special gift is a link to one of my father's movies. If they don't want that, I don't know what else I can give them. And then Amazon, of course, is selling it right now, and that's the big platform. And the reason for doing it is to influence, help people to choose the good and reject the bad, but also to tell you that anybody can change. My father came to Christ 7 years after I did. I came to Christ because of somebody who'd gone to the Billy Graham Crusades in New York, who urged me to read the Bible, and it changed my life. I'd gone to Dartmouth and Cambridge and all these fancy schools, and hearing the gospel made the difference. So anybody can change, and we've had, you mentioned it, Tim, a lot of people who come to the gala have changed, people who are wonderful people like me, who were leftists, who were Muslim, who are all different backgrounds, have come to Christ and started to make movies with this extreme Christian content. When we started, there was only one movie with positive Christian content. Now there's so many of them. There were 200 Christmas movies last fall, a lot of them produced by a friend of mine who've come to the gala. So things have changed radically. And Tim, you've helped with all that because you've helped us for many, many years.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's Chris here. I have a question for you. We're talking about this at a time in which there are some big studios that are making faith-based stuff. Sony, I believe, has a faith-based division. You've got the Kendrick brothers still out there doing their thing and doing a great job there. You've got even Amazon now has like the House of David and stuff like that. So there is faith-based entertainment out there. What, if anything, should maybe like Christian colleges or what should the church, the body of Christ, do to make more Christian filmmakers going forward to build on what does exist today?
Well, I've been teaching this for a long time. I was head of a department of City University, New York, and then head of a department at Berkeley. Don't be angry at me. I still feel you have to go into the pagan territory, but I teach how to succeed in Hollywood, how to succeed without losing your soul. And Alex Kendrick was one of my first radio engineers. You know what those people do.
Oh, yeah.
When he was a young teenager. But I try to get people to make movies that actually compete with Hollywood and make more money. The average Christian movie is doing about, $6-7 million at $10 a ticket. That's 600,000 people in a country of 360 million people. The average Hollywood movie, for instance, Superman just did a couple hundred million, and at $10 a ticket, that means they're reaching 20 or 30 or 40 million teenagers in the country. And our biggest movie last year, which was great, and the producer came up to me and said, I'm a Christian, and he introduced me to the director, and he said, I'm a Christian, and he introduced me to the writer, I'm a Christian, and it made $2 billion at the box office. So at $10 a ticket, that's 200 million people in the United States. And that's what we want. I want to see, and that, Hollywood is a business. I mean, part of what you read in my book about my father is the business of Hollywood. You need to understand the business. 60% of a movie is marketing. You can have the brightest, wonderful movie, like one of my favorite movies, and I'm going to see the star and the director next week, is Last Rodeo. But it didn't have any marketing. Hollywood spends $60-70 million in marketing. If you're in, buy ads in Dallas, let's say, you're spending $100,000 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, $300,000 for the newspaper, another couple of $100,000 for the radio, and you're spending maybe $2 million a market. And Hollywood opens movies in 5,000 markets. So we've got to learn that it's more than just being inspired. You have to learn the craft, and I teach that. And there are good schools that teach that too, except most of them are left-wing, and people who go to them. I love USC. I've taught
All right,
there. But,
so let me ask you a question, Ted. We're talking to Ted Baehr, Movie Guide. Check out Movie Guide. That's if you want to say, okay, what about this film, that film, television show, whatever. Movie Guide has it all covered for you if you want to know the content of it and so forth. The book we're talking about is Behind the Scenes of the Golden Age of Hollywood and Broadway, The Legacy of Robert Allen by Dr. Ted Baehr, B-A-E-H-R, Ted Baehr. And his dad was an actor in Hollywood back during the Golden Age. Well, so I got to ask you, what are your top three movies that you enjoyed, and or actors from the Golden Age, if you will, besides your dad, obviously?
Well, Tim, you're asking me a question that I always avoided when I was teaching at Berkeley or USC. They'd ask me, what's your favorite movie? And I'd say something totally obscure like the Cannes Film Festival winner, Tree of Wooden Clogs, because nobody had seen it. But if you want the actual movies that I loved, I love my dad's movies, which you just said don't use. It's a Wonderful Life, The Sound of Music, My Fair Lady. My father was on Broadway when My Fair Lady opened, so I went to that. I was a little boy. I'd go to all those plays, Camelot, great plays, and they became great movies. My Fair Lady was absolutely terrific, and Sound of Music was absolutely terrific. So there would be three. I have a list of the 100 best, and I try to get kids to look at the 100 best, because if you look at what's good, you'll do what's good, and you won't fill your mind with filth. And when you look at what's bad, then you get attracted to doing bad.
It's hard to get young people now. As I said, most people are younger than me that I interact with, but it is hard. I've tried to get my kids to watch some of the older movies, and I understand they can't go back and catch up. 60 years worth of movies, but it is hard to get them to watch some of these movies. But like the three you mentioned, those are just spectacular.
My Fair Lady?
Well, It's a Wonderful Life.
And
My Fair Lady,
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, yeah, I can watch that.
I own all three of those.
Yeah.
Do you really? Yeah, good. That's good.
You own them all?
You're
like a Hollywood mogul?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, you mean you own copies?
Yeah, I'm on a first-name basis
with
Spielberg. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
if you want to, send me an email Not everybody, because I can't give it away because we release these 100 films and, best films for 4th of July, 10 films, et cetera, or best films for Labor Day. But send me an email, Tim, and I'll gladly send you my top 100 list, and you can look at them. Don't tell your audience, which I'm telling them right now, because I don't want to give it away to everybody because it's proprietary information.
I got you. Well, anyway, listen, Ted, thanks for being as you said, we've been ministry partners, so to speak, for decades, and what you like? What are you? You 70 something by now? How old are you?
79.
Yeah, you're not a girl.
And
so
remember, I spoke at your father's great birthday party many years ago.
Yeah.
And he was a mighty man of God, and we stood together against the destruction of the Dallas film office. So it's just been great to be involved. And I've done programs with you, Tim, from a bridge in the middle of Kiev.
Yeah.
And the signal was terrible, so I remember that well.
Yeah. Ted Baehr, our guest, Baehr. Movie Guide is the ministry.
Movieguide.org.
Movie Guide. All right, Ted, thanks so much, brother. Take care.
God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Wow, what a great guy.
Wow, and it's been an excellent ministry. By the way, folks, if you go to movieguide.org, all the brand new movies that are out, Superman, the new Superman movie is reviewed there. The new Jurassic World movie, F1, the movie.
Wonder what happens in that movie.
It's
Jurassic Park, Part 17.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be chased by any dinosaurs yet?
I hear that there are dinosaurs that
on this island
that run amok.
Yes.
Wow, and people go there.
And people, and there's dinosaurs, and then people running and screaming.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And one of the dinosaurs has a dress.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not that bad.
Oh wow! Cross-dressing dinosaurs, huh, Fred?
I'm only kidding.
Okay,
but
I'm glad you are.
just letting folks know that movieguide.org has up to date.
Right.
They also have all kinds of articles. They have movies that they recommend. Ted mentioned The Last Rodeo. That gets a very favorable review. And these are all detailed reviews that tell you exactly what's in it that is appropriate or Christ-honoring, and those things that aren't. And so it's an excellent resource for people who want to know whether they can go see this and go see this with their families.
Listening to him, it's just a walk down memory lane.
Amen.
For someone my age, because I go back to TV shows like Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best, and moms and dads never had to worry about their kids watching that kind of programming.
And those programs are still popular over on like TV Land and some other places.
I watched when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I started watching Leave It to Beaver, and to this day, I will still watch it if I see it on somewhere, or I'll just pull it up on demand. Yeah. I've seen probably all the seasons several times.
Yeah,
it is a good show.
So what were the 3 movies he mentioned?
Sound of Music, It's a Wonderful Life, and
My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady.
Was that Barbara Streisand?
No.
Oh.
That was
Breakfast at Tiffany's lady.
Rex Harrison.
Oh, Hepburn,
and Audrey Hepburn. Yeah. I can still remember Audrey Hepburn.
She beat out Mary Poppins for that role to get My Fair Lady.
Her voice in that, where she does the
Julie
kind
Andrews.
of street urchin kind of voice there in London. Wow, what a great movie.
My Fair Lady. Okay.
Great music. Have you ever seen it?
Well, it's been a while. I'm familiar with the title of it. I don't know. The other ones I obviously seen. Sound of Music's a great movie. I watch that once a year anyway. All right, we'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues. Stay with us.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
American Family Radio has always been portable, but thanks to technology, AFR apps have redefined our portability. Whether you prefer Apple or Android, we've got you covered on your phone or tablet. We're also available on Roku. And of course, you can get Alexa to play us on your smart device. Take us with you across town or across the country. Visit afr.net or your app store today.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Senate Republicans voting to pass a legislative package overnight to quantify billions of dollars in Trump administration DOGE cuts. The package now heads over to the House, which has until tomorrow to pass it. House Speaker Mike Johnson has confidence his colleagues can get this done.
Oh, yeah, we'll get it passed.
You think you can get it passed today?
Hopefully. If not, we'll do it tomorrow.
The chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee says he is pleased that President Trump has finally put his foot down on Vladimir Putin.
As we reported on AFN, President Trump is giving the Russian leader a 50-day deadline to come to the peace table and end the war. And Trump announced that the U.S. will resume sending Patriot missile systems to Ukraine by selling them first to NATO allies, who would then dispatch them to Ukraine. Mississippi Republican Senator Roger Wicker chairs the Armed Services Committee.
The announcement Monday was very, very good. We had gotten word of it over the weekend. We'll see how it plays out, but I think most people in Congress are very pleased at this development. President Trump has finally put his foot down on Mr. Putin.
But Wicker wants any agreement involving Putin to be permanent.
This needs to be an end to the fighting where President Putin acknowledges that it will not begin again. It's not just a quick little pause or maybe a year-long pause, which is the sort of thing that Putin has done in the past. It needs to be a permanent ceasefire that allows an independent Ukraine to continue to exist as a democratic ally of the West.
I'm Chad Groening.
Nearly 3 in 4 American teenagers have used AI companions, with more than half qualifying as regular users, despite growing safety concerns about these virtual relationships, according to a new survey. AI companions, chatbots designed for personal conversations rather than simple task completion, are available on platforms like Character AI, Replica, and Nomi. Michael Robb of Common Sense Media says, obviously this can become a problem when teens turn to artificial intelligence instead of human interaction.
They should still be watching for warning signs of unhealthy attachments. You know, we've heard some horror stories in the media about kids who have had really bad experiences with AI companions. So if it seems like your teen is preferring AI interactions over real friendships, or spending hours talking to companions, or becoming emotionally distressed when separated from them, those are patterns that suggest that AI might be replacing rather than complementing human connections.
Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is running as an independent in the New York City mayoral race, but does he have a shot at beating Zohran Mamdani?
Cuomo lost to Mamdani in the Democrat primary, but he still wants to be mayor. President Trump was asked about this and whether Cuomo should stay in the race. Here's what he told reporters.
I think he should stay. I think he has a shot.
Would you prefer him over?
Well, I don't want to say. You know, I'm a Republican. He's a Democrat or an independent. No, I think Andrew would have a good shot of winning.
Media personality and Newsmax contributor Tony Katz does not think Cuomo has a chance at beating Mamdani.
Because you're dealing with New Yorkers who aren't interested in their best life. They're not interested in survival. They're interested in absolutely destroying themselves.
Now, Mamdani has been described as everything from anti-Jewish to a socialist and a communist. He met with Democrats in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Mamdani has reportedly decided to stop using the phrase globalize the intifada.
It would be great if Mamdani would stop utilizing the terms like globalize the intifada. He still wants me dead. He still wants the Jews in New York dead. I remember growing up in New Jersey in the shadow of New York thinking that the Jews were the smart ones. Those days are over. The Jews in New York don't know that if he says globalize the intifada and he means it, and all of a sudden he turns a different phrase, it doesn't all of a sudden make him a good guy. This is who he is. This is what he believes. This is what he wants. And you're not going to be safe walking down the street because you're not already. So the idea that somehow they're going to magically turn to Cuomo because they want something better is to think that the New York voter has got their head screwed on straight.
I'm Chris Woodward.
American Family News is online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
I'll do some stand-up comedy, Abe will do some preaching, and I'm really excited about it.
The Weekend with AFA is a chance for our supporters to get better acquainted with the people and ministry you're supporting.
It's a Weekend with AFA, Thursday, October 2nd through Saturday, October 4th in Tupelo, Mississippi. Speakers will include Abraham Hamilton III, Jenna Ellis, Tim Barton, Tim Wildman, and more. Register at afa.net/weekend. That's afa.net/weekend.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildman, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Issues, the name of this program. If you want to send us an email, as long as it's positive and encouraging, we call those K-Love emails.
Don't send them to K-Love, though.
No, K-Love, they get enough emails. But K-Love refers to themselves.
They send us some Today's Issues emails, is
yes,
what they say.
As positive and encouraging with their music and inspiration, and I have no problem with that. I'm just saying that we're going to use that for our email request. So if you email us, make it be positive and encouraging. And inspire us in some way if you can, right, Ed?
I love being inspired.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that attitude.
You got to fill us back up. I understand that we inspire you.
Yes, we do.
Every day.
All day, every day.
Yeah, that's right. We inspire. So we need to be filled back up with inspiration.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like pass it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward. Pay it forward.
Or pay it forward.
Pass it forward is what Mississippi State will try to do
in a football game.
In a football game.
Yes, and hopefully be more successful this year. So Tim, Ed, and Fred, and we welcome now Steve Paisley-Jordahl.
Good morning, everybody.
To our studio. What's on your mind, Steve?
Oh, so much on my mind. Let's start by talking about AI.
Okay.
AI is the kind of unknown elephant in the room, and I've done stories for American Family News. It says it's going to destroy us all.
AI
is. I
watched several movies that say that's going to happen.
There's some people who say that know what they're talking about. They say that's not really fiction. I've had stories that talk about it curing blindness. Mm-hmm. And doing all sorts of medical wonders.
Right.
One of the things that we have been told, that we told our young people, is that AI is coming for all the McDonald's jobs and everything. If you want to make a living, learn how to code. Learn how to do computers. Write computer code. Write programs for computers, because that's the future.
And by the way, we have a very fine IT department here at AFA, AFR.
At least for the next month.
And they have written programs for us that help us work more efficiently.
Well, Mike,
this is the reason I didn't go into this field, is because of what Steve's about to say, because I saw it coming.
Yeah,
you did.
Sure.
Go ahead, Steve.
Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs guy. He was at a conference giving a little talk and everything, and he's pushing back a little bit against that advice to young people to learn how to code. Cut 14.
Mm-hmm. We've been telling kids for 15 years to code. Learn to code, we said. Yeah, well, AI is coming for the coders. They're not coming for the welders. They're not coming for the plumbers. They're not coming for the steam fitters or the pipe fitters or the HVAC. They're not coming for the electricians. That Ideas Festival I was telling you about in Aspen, I sat there and listened to Larry Fink say we need 500,000 electricians in the next couple of years. Not hyperbole.
That was Mike Rowe. He was at the Pennsylvania Energy Innovation Summit. I think the same one that President Trump was at.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Mike Rowe.
Yeah, I am.
He is just down to earth. I loved his Dirty Jobs series, and he does the one that goes out on the boats with does the narration.
Yeah,
by Dirty Jobs, it was jobs that nobody else wants to do.
Jobs that nobody else wants to do. But this is so practical. Because I see, Steve, what you're saying with your story is that you can tell AI now, I want a program to do this, and AI will spit it out in minutes.
It'll code it for you in seconds.
In seconds.
Yeah.
But as Mike Rowe is saying, AI cannot put a roof on a house.
Can't fix your air conditioner.
Can't put plumbing in.
Yeah, there's a lot of jobs, robotics, which is associated with AI. We're not going to be able to do.
Oh no.
You can use robotics. I'm saying that's part of AI. You can use that in our automation. You can use that in in jobs that like factories or plants or things of that nature. But to use it in what he described, those are jobs that are always going to be around.
Yeah.
There needs to be a discussion about AI in the church. Our good friend Bob McGinnis, who's a military analyst for us, but he is writing a book called AI for the Future. I think that's what it's called. It's going to be released pretty soon. And when it does, I've asked us if we can have him on for part of this 11 o'clock hour to talk, because he is doing a deep dive into not only what AI means for the future of mankind, but he puts it in terms of what's biblical. What does it mean? How does it relate to biblical prophecy? All that kind of stuff. It's good research. So,
how long before we have pastors appear by hologram?
Probably do that now with AI.
Well, now that's different.
To preach a sermon by hologram.
By hologram, you can.
It's holy. Am I right?
No, it's a different word. Hologram.
Oh, holo.
Yeah, hologram.
Okay, well.
Now, that's. Are you talking about a real pastor appearing at a off campus? You're not talking about a fake pastor.
Yeah.
That is a video. I've seen videos created entirely by AI, and they look Hollywood quality.
They do.
Now, except for fingers, for some reason.
No, they got that solved now too.
Do they really?
Yes.
Okay. So it really is incredible the when you unleash the basically unlimited computing power. I've never even accessed sermons online like the internet. You can get full sermons online. That's not AI.
It's called plagiarism.
It is called plagiarism. But I've never done that. I can't imagine a real pastor.
No.
Wanting to copy and paste somebody else's.
However, on the pastor thing, we've discussed this before. With Ray Pritchard when we've had him on, because I think Ray Pritchard actually said, just for fun, he asked AI to give me a 3-point sermon on Psalm 23, and he spent it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
5 minutes. I'm surprised it took that long.
Yeah, probably not that long.
Yeah.
So
probably for him to read it.
I know pastors do research for their sermons.
Well, that's different. Research is different.
Okay, but could you jam AI producing something on a particular passage of Scripture under the heading of research?
Well, to me, research is just searching for the information that you want to use.
Bible commentaries.
But you can Bible commentaries. What I was talking about is getting the sermon. Listen, this is just maybe I'm old school, but before I do sermons, I pray, I read, and I ask the Holy Spirit to give me the things to say that God wants to say. That's what I'm talking about. Is giving that task over to AI. To me, there's something seems wrong with that. But outlines. You can find outlines in Matthew Henry commentaries. That kind of thing. If you're going to add to or try to corral your information and maybe get some help that way, that's probably. I'm talking about the task of finding out what God wants you to say to the congregation on Sunday and what needs to be in it. To me, that needs to be Spirit-led. And I get a little nervous sometimes about what kinds of spirits may be driving AI.
One of the first companies that I came across when I started doing research is one of the things I report on is artificial intelligence for us is a company called Pulpit AI. Pulpit AI will take a pastor's message and he will make a social media strategy out of it. It'll take the message, it'll divide it up into daily Bible studies that you can send your congregation. It'll post, tweets about it. It has a whole social media. It's your social media team. It doesn't add content. It doesn't change content, but it does disseminate content very effectively and creatively.
Well, and I think Ray Pritchard mentioned also the cloning of his voice.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Ray?
Yeah.
Where AI cloned his voice, and then his sermons that were written, if someone wanted to hear the sermon, this AI program would, in his voice, read it.
Especially the sermons on Hezekiah.
Yes. Anyway, I'm not trying to drag this discussion
A lot of
out.
this is very disturbing.
Yeah.
Because how can we know what's real anymore in the coming years?
Boy, that's going to be a big challenge.
That is.
It already is a challenge for us news gatherers.
And apparently people who are baby boomers, like
all
of us,
I'm on the tail end.
I am less able to spot AI in a video than young people. I see this all the time on social media. The boomer thinks this is real. It's AI, and they can seem to recognize it right away.
You mean cats playing the orchestra is not real?
By the way, I would like to have Bob McGinnis on to discuss that when he gets his book out.
Yeah, I've already asked us, and you've already told me I can. So.
Oh, okay.
What about one other question related to how can churches and pastors use AI in a way that's productive? What about if you have counseling sessions that are set up and you don't want to go to it? No, I mean, have we not all?
Pastor, and you don't want to go to it?
Anything in particular?
There are some pastors that have been there, and they don't want to see Sister Lucy coming again.
Oh, I've been there.
Okay, you've been there. And so you just have your AI sit in there and do the counseling session for you,
or do it online.
Do it online,
kind of like a Zoom call.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm talking about.
It's a fake.
Everybody benefits.
Yeah,
right there. I think AI is probably giving better answers than you would. Am I right?
Well, I probably have a lot.
I'm sorry, sister. What did you say?
Former congregation.
I got distracted. What's this?
Oh,
somebody tell me what the
Brother
story
Ed, you think it is okay that I get my husband with a 2x4?
So I have to ask you one question.
Okay.
I have many questions. Of course, my dad was a preacher too.
Yes.
For many years, so I was a PK.
Yeah.
I know the ins and outs and ups and downs of that world.
Right.
But I have to ask you, you served as a pastor. When you go out in the community, okay, not on Sunday morning where you have to stand in the back of the church or whatever and shake hands. You don't have a choice. You have to listen, be pleasant.
Yeah.
But you're at Walmart or you're at the grocery store and you see the person you know, and maybe they're not going to dump on you, but they're going to talk about something for 20 minutes.
Right.
Because they're the one of those talkers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yakety, and you can't get away.
Exactly. I know what you're talking about.
So what do you do? Do you intentionally, Ed, go to the see that, and then you go to
the liquor aisle?
Yeah, you go to not the liquor aisle, but you go a couple aisles over because you just don't have time.
So you want the honest answer?
I want the answer.
The honest answer is it depends if they see me first.
Oh, that's if you make eye contact.
If they see me first and they make eye contact, then it's
you're obligated.
I'm
obligated.
But if I see them first and they're not looking at me, I'm heading in another direction. I'm just giving. You said you wanted an honest answer.
I wanted an honest answer.
That's right. Now, if it's someone who's suffered a loss or something, I would never avoid them. But if it's somebody that I know, I'm going to get.
I'm just talking about the talker.
20. Yes.
Because we all know there's 10 or 20% of our fellow Americans. And it doesn't matter if they're Christians or not.
You just can't shut them up.
They're going to. You're going to be sitting there for 15 minutes.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
And I would not be above taking a book off the shelf and putting it next to my head as I walk down.
Like a box of cereal.
Yeah.
To block your head.
A box of Lucky Charms.
Yeah. I'm sure the Apostle Paul did that.
No. Well, I freely admit.
I'm hiding behind that tree.
I am nowhere near the Apostle Paul level.
No, but I'm reading again the letters of the Apostle Paul. He was pretty human.
He might be the guy that they avoid.
In some ways.
Yeah.
What was the letter he opens up? He goes, "Hey, you fools."
I think it might have been Galatians.
Yeah, okay.
He also used to turn people's flesh over to Satan.
Yes.
Now, if I had
have you ever done that?
If I had no. If I had that kind of authority with God,
right,
I might say, no,
Okay.
you're not talking to me today.
Are you saying there's a little bit of Donald Trump in the
So you haven't ever told somebody you're counseling that you're turning, or what did you say?
Turning their flesh over
Yeah,
to
you haven't ever used that expression?
I have not. I've wanted to.
Again, honesty. That's what we appreciate. It.
That would be a hilarious little Twitter account, Apostle Paul's Twitter account.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, you think about Paul as like, some glowing, right under Jesus, and he was. I mean, he's one of the greatest Christian figures in human history. But
exactly.
But he also was very human.
Yes.
He got ticked off.
Yeah.
By a lot of things.
Remember when he didn't want to take Mark with him on the next journey?
Right. Yeah. Caused a little split.
Yeah. I'm not taking that kid with me.
And guess what happened?
Brat.
And then later on, Mark matured.
Yes.
And Paul wanted him to
him.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me reintroduce this show here.
Yeah, because we are far afield.
Today's Issues, the name of this show on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. Tim, Ed, Fred, and Steve. Go, Steve.
All right, so the discussion in Congress and around the country, political discussion, has been about these detention centers that Donald Trump is setting up, Alligator, Alcatraz.
They're timeout centers.
They're timeout centers. Yeah. Well, the Democrats like to say that they're inhumane. I saw one complain that you have to go to the bathroom in the same place you have to brush your teeth, which I'm thinking, has she not been in a modern home lately? But anyway, there's a congresswoman from Arizona. Her name is Yasmin Ansar.
Okay.
And she was taking on an expert witness there, and his name is Mike Howell. He's from the Heritage Foundation. And she wasn't really prepared. The first question is about these so-called inhumane conditions at these facilities, Cut 16.
So, Mr. Howell, I have a couple of questions for you. Very straightforward, yes or no. Do you support this type of treatment of human beings?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. All the other Democrats haven't asked a question, so I kind of wasn't paying attention. Can you restate it?
Do you think that is acceptable treatment of human beings by the United States of America?
For illegal aliens to be detained throughout their immigration proceedings, yes, I think it's the
way.
law.
To be treated in
I'm not taking your word for it.
Okay. Do you believe that members of Congress are legally allowed to conduct oversight of ICE detention facilities?
As we've written extensively, the Oversight Project, because we're trying to help keep your colleagues out of jail, you as an individual member do not have oversight authority. Oversight authority by the rules of the House flows through the full House to the chairman, and that right now is held by the majority. So
it is
despite the
legally
statute
allowed.
that you cite,
Mr.
it's going to
Howell,
end up with more Democrats clogging our jails.
my time.
I want to keep you out of jail.
Claiming my time, thank you. It is actually legal for members of Congress to go to detention center facilities that are operated by our government and to conduct oversight. That actually is legally allowed.
That is incorrect.
I love this guy.
Who was that going back and forth? Right there?
That was Yasmin Ansar, a Democrat from Arizona, and Mike Howell of the Heritage Foundation, who's tired of all this. Like many Republicans, I think, are.
So he was before this.
He was a
committee.
witness on the panel.
And the Democrats, rather than ask him questions, just used their time prior to
talk
this
over
person,
him,
to just berate him. And so when he was finally asked a question, he said, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. All the other Democrats, none of them have asked me a question." That's some excellent back and forth.
Yeah,
good for him.
Absolutely.
Okay, so but congressmen they do have. I know he answered no, you don't, but they do have oversight, not in a direct sense. But they do have the legal authority to have oversight in a
federal facility like that.
Federal facility like that.
But there's a process.
But what he is referring to, they don't have a right to break in to one of these detention.
Show up and demand to be
which
let.
is what they tried to do in New Jersey there back a few weeks ago.
Right.
Tried to barge in. What this gentleman was pointing out, yes, there is a procedure, but you got to go through the chairman of a committee to do it.
Right. I just wanted people not to any way, shape, or form misinterpret what we're saying here.
Yep.
We do believe, because there's going to be a Democrat president one day, and if they start doing stuff like throwing Christians in jail, we're going to want to say, yes, Congress has a right to know what's going on. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Some breaking news.
Breaking?
Yeah,
breaking?
we got some breaking news.
Okay.
There was almost a break-in at the White House. The Onion reporting this, cut 15.
A developing situation in Washington where just moments ago the White House was evacuated. Sources confirming that President Trump, as well as many key members of his administration, were rushed out of the building after the White House's trans alarm went off. Footage here showing the moment that infrared estrogen sensors detected a large spike in gender fluidity within dangerous proximity to the West Wing. Trans. ONN's Jason Copeland joining us now from Washington with the latest. Jason, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Dwight, Secret Service has confirmed that this was in fact not a test, but rather the trans defense system being initiated by a trans person detected within the White House's cisgender-only radius. Now, per protocol, President Trump, as well as other members of his cabinet, have all been urgently outfitted with hormone-proof vests and ushered deep below ground into their traditional values bunker for their ultimate safety.
There you go.
The Onion. That's like
it's kind of like the Babylon Bee.
It's a secular Babylon Bee. In fact, not the Bee, the people that are the offshoot of the Babylon Bee, they were the ones that pointed this out. Said finally they got a pretty funny video. It's actual.
The Onion.
It is sarcastic against those who don't want this trans nonsense everywhere, but it's pretty funny. that was pretty well done. And you know what that proves is that conservatives and Bible-believing Christians can have fun. We have a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. It's the radical left that has no sense of humor.
Yeah.
And they're not going to find anything on the Babylon Bee funny.
No, they don't. They try to censor it at times.
That's right.
There's more breaking news. ICE is on the move, and they have hit the studios at ABC. This is scary. This is, cut 17?
News tonight, the president has deported the cast of The View. Their show will be replaced by 4 hours of screaming goat videos. Not much of a difference there.
That who did that?
That
sounded like
Whoopi Goldberg.
No, I'm talking about the goats.
Oh.
The voice of the
that was Jake Tapper or either.
It's Anderson Cooper's who it
Anderson
sounded
Cooper.
like.
That's who it was.
But could have been AI Anderson.
It was Anderson Cooper's voice. Sounded like.
Yeah, it sounded like it, and that's hilarious. The View.
I got to show you. I'll show you the video here, and we can put it. The videos. I won't play the sound, but the video is funny because at the end they have the goats on the set of The View.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
So is this how you spent your morning?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's how I spend every morning, Ed.
Yeah. Is the View still a thing? I guess.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? They get a pretty good viewership.
Watchers. Yeah.
They have hate watchers, and then they also have an audience. MRC Media Research Center has a guy, Nick Fondacaro. His sole job is to watch The View, and
poor fella.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He gets 8 weeks of vacation every year.
You still got Joy Baehr and
Joy Baehr, which is not related to Ted Baehr.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg.
The others.
The conservative is Joe Farah's daughter.
And the rest here on The View.
What's her name?
Farah?
Conservative.
The conservative.
On The View.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
okay. Anyway, she is Joe Farah, a friend of ours. Haven't talked to him in a long time. That's his daughter.
Oh, wow. Joe Farah's daughter?
Yeah. Okay. Is this Farah Griffith or whatever her name is?
So
Sonny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Alyssa Farah Griffin.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
So we should have insulted her.
Insulted her?
Yeah, by showing a goat sitting in for her.
Well, she...
By the way,
the conservative on this sometimes is to the left of AOC.
Oh,
real
okay.
Conservative.
All right. By the way, The View averages about 3 million viewers
a day.
Yes. So that's not bad for daytime.
For the time of day.
Yeah.
But I think if you would replace them with 4 goats, you would probably get as many viewers.
As long as
we're talking Americans here.
As long as they were feigning goats,
right?
I want to make a loud noise and see them all pass out.
All right. We hope that you captured something of value today.
It would have been
during this hour and a half. And you have a great rest of your Thursday. You're here tomorrow?
I'm here, sure.
So Trivia Friday tomorrow, and Brother JJ will be back with us. So Trivia Friday tomorrow on this show. We'll see you. Take care.